to driving around in vehicle. That's nice.
Trying to
Wisconsin.
I'm sitting in the air-conditioned office.
Glad you could join us.
Yeah, well, I thought it was at 2:30.
I have on your information.
I just told him that you were still in hair and makeup, Dave.
You guessed. So I forgot to print in my haste. I forgot to print out the agenda. So Rob, why don't you lead us through that? What new, I guess, new business, or what do we want to do first? We have a quorum, it looks like.
Yeah. So I assume everyone got the agenda. As it goes, we just have to read off that pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th order regarding open meeting law, the meeting will be aired at a later time on the town's government TV YouTube channel. And call the meeting to order.
Yep.
So we need to go through and do a verbal attendance.
There we go.
If we can just call it out. Thank you for putting that up. If we just go, Dave, you can just go around and each person has to verbally let everybody know that they are present.
Okay. Why don't we?
Okay, yeah, Ben, so I'll start. Ben Shampoo, present.
Mike Miserelli, present.
John Chickdale, present.
Dave Shampoo, present.
Dale Gary, present.
All right, and I am Rob McNeil, DPW Director, present.
Steve Arsenault, present.
And we have Hannah Nicole here on behalf of DPW admin. And I believe we have a member of the public here. If you'd like to make yourself known and announce yourself, that'd be great.
Hillary Anifol, present.
Thank you, Hillary. All right, so we are now underway. We need an acceptance of today's agenda. If anyone would like to make a motion.
Motion to accept today's agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We want to go through, if you've had a chance to read and accept, make a motion for approval of the minutes, anyone? Or if there's any questions on the previous minutes?
I don't believe minutes were sent out yet.
They weren't, okay. All right. So moving on to announcements. So getting back to a regular schedule, third Thursday of the month at 2 p.m. And that suits everybody?
That's fine.
Okay.
Fine by me.
Yeah, that's good.
For public comment, assuming Hillary, you might be here for that, or do you have something that's on the agenda?
I was told to join the meeting in reference to a tree being planted on Upper Main Street in memory of my mom, which I got permission from Libby
Yep.
a couple of years ago.
Sorry, so this is the new business memorial planting.
Correct.
Okay, not sure if you handled the application, Hannah, or Kay or Vanessa, but maybe it's best to get the committee up to speed with this application.
Yeah, sure. So if I haven't looked at it in a few days. But Hillary, correct me if I'm wrong, you got this application quite some time back, right? And were approved quite some time back.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the application was through the process that town administration has with their memorial program, where you can purchase a bench or purchase a plaque to go on a bench. In this case, Hillary would like to plant a tree in memory of her mother. We've asked Hillary to join the committee today to get your opinion on what type of tree species that should be planted, and just overall tree details.
Now, Hillary, that's going to be planted in front of your house on Upper Main Street, I take it.
I was led to believe it was someplace around the Hadwick house. The reason it didn't get done was there was a big
Oh, okay.
stump, and then there was a sidewalk issue, and then there was the road issue.
Okay.
And so I was just revisiting it. Anywhere I would be grateful.
Okay, fine. Yeah, there is certainly a spot. Dale, how about, what's your input on this, Dale?
Yes, it would be on the corner of Pleasant and Main where I took down that girdle and Route Linden.
Okay, yep. That would be a great spot.
That would be a great spot.
And
Is that in the sidewalk, Dale?
yes, I took the tree down that was in the sidewalk.
Okay. Yes,
And
the only thing I'd say there is back to the Upper Main Street discussion about plantings in the brick sidewalk. And I think I sent around some engineering details to get some feedback from the members on the makeup of the details of these kind of sidewalk projects. But this was, I think this is just specific to tree roots found.
Yeah, so I'm just sharing the screen here. Can you guys see that? This is what you sent, Rob?
Yep. There was some discussion in previous meetings and in the field visits there about developing an actual planting plan that includes the structural soils to allow both the plant to continue to grow, but also provide a means to build a sidewalk that is going to hold up over time.
Do we want to talk about, can you guys see the screen?
I can see it.
Yes.
Yep.
Do we want to sort of, while we're on the subject of planting in the sidewalk, do we want to talk about these engineering details for a minute?
I would say we could probably come back to that after we
Okay.
talk about this, but that's
Yeah.
just me. I think in this case, we're talking about a new planting
Yeah.
in a place where I think we either removed or ground out the stump. Can you refresh my memory there, Dale?
Yes, it was a linden that died, and then we had the stump ground out, and that's the place that we had spoke of back in the early days of getting that tree replanted.
Right.
Yeah, that was a historic trust tree, wasn't it, Dale? I believe it was.
That linden it was.
Yeah, yep.
Has there been a decision about what variety is going in its place?
I'm thinking because of Main Street, I'd just rather stick with elms.
Yep, I agree. And there's no wires there anyway, so that's a perfect spot to plant an elm. There's plenty of room, so.
I mean, it's a great spot to do a replant.
Yep.
So I think this could, maybe we could get back to this detail later on in the discussion. I think it'd be a really good opportunity to, sort of work this planting protocol out. And this could also be a good sort of study site to see if we can develop some protocols that will allow a tree to, sort of live in this
Yep.
sidewalk environment.
So at this point, Ms. Anapol, I think the idea is that the approval was given for this location or for the memorial itself, if I understand the program properly, it's now up to you to order the plaque and to purchase the tree.
Correct. The plaque has been made. It's 11 by 20 inches. And I am happy to go buy the tree. If there's any guidance on size or caliber that someone wants to give me.
Well, typically when we do sidewalk planting, we try not to go above 2.5 inches in diameter. So from 2 to 2.5 inches should be a perfect sidewalk tree.
Okay. And is there any particular type of elm that I'm to buy?
Lace, New Harmony elm, I like.
Is that it, Dale? Is that the one, the New Harmony? That's the one that's in front of the Brotherhood, right? That got replaced.
Yes.
That's a. I like it. Yeah.
Because unfortunately, I wish I could find a Washington. They don't go to Washington anymore.
No.
Okay, so if I understand, you wanted a 2 to 2.5 caliber?
Yes.
Okay. And once I buy that, probably, if anyone has any recommendations, I'll go there. But once I buy it, do I contact you, Dale?
I think you have to reach out to the office and I would get the work from there.
Okay,
Give me a call.
okay,
Yeah, Hillary, we cannot make a recommendation on the nursery,
okay,
but any island nursery would be helpful.
okay.
Dale, when we were to take something like this on, is there a specific time of year that's most beneficial? When would we expect?
I would rather get it done early spring only because I'm too close to winter work right now.
Okay.
You guys make the call. I mean, if they have it in stock now, we can get the machine and then we can get it done in a day.
Yeah, they might have larger elms in stock
Yeah,
now, but that's, I don't know.
That's the thing about sidewalks. If it was going in a park, then we would go large.
Yep.
But just for sidewalk space in the root ball. Because every 1 inch is, well, that is 10 inches in diameter, root ball.
Yeah, I would be comfortable with springtime. And if Hillary, if you were to go about and make the purchase now, I'm guessing the nursery would take it and either order it or provide a credit that we could then execute in the spring.
Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your patience on this.
Thanks, Hillary.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, it'll be a nice tribute to your mother.
I knew that you knew her. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah. Yep. She's very involved with the Save the Elms project. So
Right. All righty, thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So going, that's it for new business. What we could do, because we have brought it up before, if you want, Ben, we can go to the details to discuss that stuff next.
Let me see if I can find these again. Hang on a second.
Hey, could I step in briefly here to bring up something? Hey, Dave, have the guy that running the health club next to Cumberland Farms reached out to you?
No.
Well, they partly pruned that tree a couple of years ago when I was out.
That's the linden that's there?
No, that's that honey locust, that thornless honey locust, right next to.
I mean, I'm sorry, the honey locust, yeah.
Yes, that's one of our plantings.
Yep.
The guy that purchased the building is going to apply to have that tree removed.
I would not be in favor of that at all. I mean,
Okay,
that tree's in good shape.
Yes, well, I'm gonna have, if you reach out to me again, I'm gonna have him pass it on to. I told him to call the office, and then you can get the information.
Well, he can certainly, apply for a hearing, but anyway, we'll leave it at that.
If you speak, have him send an email, and then if he wants to do that, he'll have to send a written letter to the DPW office
Right.
attention to the committee.
Okay. It has nothing to do with me. Somehow he ended up with my number, and that's how I got involved.
Yeah, if you just want to pass him on to me, that's fine.
I've never even met him. I've just talked to him via text.
Okay, you can send me his number too, and I can reach out to him if you
Okay,
just hand it off to me. That's fine.
okay. And Dave, did we look at that elm at 20 Westchester?
It's one of our customers, so I have not really eyeballed it, but I will.
It's really not something we can play around with.
No, I agree. I think I have looked at it before, but
We can't play around with this. We gotta come up with a decision here.
yep, okay.
Because for us, the liability is too great, I
Yep.
feel.
Yep,
Can you repeat the address of that tree?
It is 20
20
Westchester.
right.
Thank you.
But they own 20 and 22, right, Dave?
20 and 22, yeah, they own, our customer owns 20 and
20
22.
is going toward town, right? Let's make sure we're in the right one.
Yes,
Okay, yes, that big M in the front of 20 is,
yep,
it's in dire need. It's in bad shape.
yep.
What's the recommendation from you, Dale? Are we talking about a takedown or a trim?
I'm in for removal. I hate to lose an elm that old and that size, but the liability is not worth the chance.
We can't unweight it.
Huh?
We can't unweight it.
No. It's in serious shape.
Well, let's, I think we all had, everybody in the committee should have an eyeball on it, and then we can.
But
Make a
my
decision on that
big
anyway.
concern, my big concern is because it's such a weak tree,
Yep,
it will be susceptible to Dutch elm.
yep.
That's, and the decay is serious.
Yep.
All right, so
Yeah.
time frame wise, what are we talking? Do we have time to wait until the next meeting for a decision on this, Dale?
Yeah, we need to look at it. Maybe you and I can take a ride, Rob, or we can meet up there, Rob.
Well, you can't do anything about, you can't take it down yet anyway, so,
No, the point is, I just want somebody to look at it outside. I mean, I have some stuff written up from Jim Cook with he and I looked at
sure, yep.
Okay, so I guess the point would be that everyone would take a look at it before the next meeting and hopefully come to a consensus and then get it on the schedule.
Yep.
If
20 Westchester?
Yeah,
it. And I met with Bartlett Sanchez the other day. We got a nematode that's killing beech trees now. Got a serious problem with beech trees right now. It's called beech leaf.
European or American?
I'm thinking all beech trees right now. Whatever this is, they have no cure for it.
What's it
It's a
called now?
nematode?
It's a nematode.
Yeah,
What's it called? Do you remember?
It's called beech leaf disease.
Beech leaf disease?
Yes, and once I get the email, I will pass that on to you.
Okay.
But it's just something, I mean, fortunately, we don't have a lot of beech, but it's something which is keeping in the back of our mind.
yeah,
There is a problem out in the western part of the state right now.
Yeah.
yeah. What do we got? We've got a couple of American beach in town.
We've got that beautiful copper beech. It's not ours, but that beautiful copper beech off Main Street. And the big American beech on Orange Street.
Yep, and there's one on, in front of,
South Water,
on South Water, right?
yes.
all right.
Yep, so we're not many.
Before I forget, David, there's a package here addressed to you, tree warden at DPW office from DCR. Just came today.
Okay, I'll pick it up.
All right.
Also, Dale, I see, did you take down that tree on Main Street in Wisconsin?
Yes,
Okay. That was, now,
it was full of verticillium. It's just rotted out.
okay, fine.
And I removed one of the elms at Nantucket Bank.
On Pleasant.
At Nantucket Bank.
Yes,
Oh, okay,
was not a situation where somebody could have waited on.
Okay, that's fine.
But what I did, I did cap the root, the stump with wound seal.
Okay,
That was split right down the middle.
That's one of the Princetons, one of the 75 Princetons.
okay, all right. Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
That was one of the 75 Princetons.
Right. Yep. Now, getting back to that tree in Sconset, are we getting any tree credits from the people that want to put the driveway in there?
I don't know if they need to now because we took the big tree down.
Yeah, okay.
The little tree is still standing. I think we're gonna make it.
I saw that.
The big tree fell apart. It just fell on the house.
Yep. Oh, it did?
Yes, that's why it came down. It fell on the house.
Aha. All right.
And
Well, that answers that question. I didn't realize it fell on the house.
yes, and the
Okay.
plant underneath the wire is just not, the replant underneath the wire is not worth it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would like to eventually step them all out to the middle of that,
Yep, okay.
eventually.
All right. Any other maintenance issues ongoing or something that needs to get looked at?
Nothing other than I need to get up to 52 Center Street, and that's in a work order, just trying to figure out how we can deal with traffic. All them honey locusts running down Gate Street next to the JC House.
Okay.
How about the flowering crab at the on Center Street that we allowed to be removed? Has that been done yet?
Which flowering crab?
That's at the, what was that? The Roberts collection?
Sure.
I don't know anything about that one.
Because they have permission to remove it for construction. And they paid money into the replacement fund, so.
Okay. That is fine. What are we gonna do about the impact of that big elm tree with the machinery?
They've got to use hand tools, air spades or whatever. Jim Cook is gonna be the arborist on call there to make any decisions if they unearth any of the root system of the elm.
Okay.
So I think we got a pretty good protocol
Okay.
going forward there.
All right.
But Dale, you should be keep an eyeball on it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm allowed to stay in it, I will.
Yep.
All right, we'll come, if you think of anything else, Dale, we can come back to that or come back to you. Anything on, we'll go on to tree planting policy. One thing that we don't have is sort of a planting plan island-wide. I think it would be helpful to develop something like this, and that could be done ideally with everyone's input. I'm not sure if that's something the committee feels like they want to take on completely, or if we want to try to get a consultant involved to bring everyone's thoughts together in a plan, or we feel like we can do it just as a committee here. But the idea would be ultimately to develop a planting plan that we could start to either have the department do annual investments of new plantings, or even hire to have people install them at these locations. And now I'd skip down one just to say, under the tree credits policy, we're building up a fair balance. Right now, we're looking somewhere in the order of about $20,000 in credits already. So, it goes a ways to start to do some meaningful plantings above and beyond just what the DPW budget would allow for.
Well, we've got, let's see, 10, there's 16. There's $25,000 worth of, or more of credits that we have at our disposal. That'd buy a lot of trees.
Yeah,
And we have quite a few that need to be replaced that have come down in town sidewalks all around town. I think those are pretty easy to identify.
yeah. In fact, what we've been doing on our stump grinding contract now is last year and then this one that's going to be going out soon. I had initially Will, and I think this time it's been either Mo or Dale going around and photographing each of the stumps and then identifying the species so that we can have a decent record of, what was there and therefore inform, what might go back there.
Yep.
I think we could do that internally, like come up with areas and suggestions for a planting plan. I don't see a need to hire a consultant. I'm interested what everybody else has to say on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. John, you got
Thereby, I guess, volunteering myself to be on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Open your mouth.
I think it's maybe we just as we're out and about throughout our days, we take notes on areas. I do it all the time. But maybe just during the meetings, I don't know, set a time aside that we can review different areas that we see.
Yep.
Make a point of where we're trying to place trees.
Well, Rob, your office has, you can pretty much lay out those spots, maybe in a memo. And then we can make suggestions as far as what we'd all like to see as a tree in those individual spots.
Sure. I think I definitely want to start from the last stump list because I want to say we probably had a good 20 spots there anyway. And if we're going to be going in with some fairly mature trees, then we want to how far that budget's going to go. And also Dale's got a fair amount that's still usable from the nursery here that we want to clear out. So anywhere we can make use of those, that'd be helpful too.
Sure.
One thing I think we should try to come up with is some kind of watering program, whether we water them once a week or every other week.
Yeah, I have a good, at least I have I won't judge how the idea is, but I remember during the Longhorn Beetle issue in Worcester, there was a federally funded, essentially a work program where they hired a couple kids each summer and just got a watering truck, and they literally filled that thing up probably 4 or 5 times a day and just went around and filled up the gator bags all summer long. That was their summer job. And just to keep up with all the new plantings following the ALB when they cleared everything. So I think we could certainly, I know it takes a lot of time to do that, and it's, kind of a mundane, basic thing. So I think I'd be supportive of getting someone, even if it was a seasonal summer laborer team, to go around and do that kind of a watering program, whether it's, based on the need, whatever the weather looks like. Because I know this year, Dale and Scott spent a fair amount of time, once we got into that really dry period of the summer, we had to go out and really spend a lot of time on Surfside with all those elms that had been recently planted. So yeah, I think as we get into more plantings, the considerations for how and who is going to water them is also a big need.
I don't think we have anything on the magnitude of what went on in Worcester. I think Dale and his crew could easily make the rounds, particularly in the heat of the summer when, when it's necessary.
Yep. Yeah, let's hope we never have anything like that.
Yep, for sure.
So we could start certainly with the stump list, and then certainly if you as a committee or individuals have specific areas in mind. I know even just now talking about Main Street and Sconset, I think there's ample opportunity out there to come up with a plan. So as these start to change over, we'll be able to pop something back in there. Any more on the tree planting policy or tree credits policy? Okay. Chapter 132, language, trees and shrubs. And we've had stuff on here that just says any suggested changes to run it past our town council, misspelled there. But we want to make sure we refresh these as needed. I think everyone's had a chance to read through it at least once or twice. If there's any comments or suggestions now or anytime in the future, please bring them up and we'll discuss them and we can go forward with a suggested change. I mean, to me, anything like this would ultimately have to go to town meeting. If something's not working or we need to add to it to update it, that's what we want to pursue, I think.
I think we all agreed that the fine structure was something that we wanted to sort of up the ante on that. And I know that we're doing the replacements, but I believe we were trying to put a few more teeth to this, which was needing to be reviewed by town council. So I'll have to read through it again in detail and make some notes, but maybe we should all do that before the next meeting.
Yeah. I mean, fines in particular aren't enough. The existing fines for removal is definitely not enough.
Right. And the tree replacement credits, even that are in place that we're currently using, isn't really enough of a deterrent. People are seemingly happy to pay the price to do what they want. So.
On that subject, Dale, what is it, Dover or York Street, the catalpa that got pruned on you. Have you ever got to the bottom of that? Who
I've been trying to find out. I'm waiting on to meet with the neighbor next door to find out who did that.
Yep.
Because what they wanted to do, they wanted to put a house in there.
Oh, I know.
And they couldn't get it in there with the two trees. So I'm gonna show them that if they butchered it enough.
They definitely butchered it.
I've been trying to meet with the neighbor to find out who did the work.
Okay, well, keep us posted.
Yes, I'm on it.
Okay, great.
I'm on it. There's a maple tree on Orange Street. It's a must take down. The last sycamore maple on Orange Street.
Have no problem with that.
That's the last one on Orange Street. There's a must take down, but you can't get on Orange without construction. And I don't want to get caught in the middle of the night.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And my problem is if it let go while somebody's passing by, we're gonna have some problems.
Sure.
And I can get some pictures of that and send it to Mo and Rob so they can see this area.
What's the address? What's the address there, Dale?
It's right after this hill. I can't get the address. I have it this afternoon though.
It's right after where?
It's right past the hill. I can't think the address. But I can have that this afternoon.
Okay,
But it's must come down. And I can take pictures in the morning, Rob. So they can see the severity of this particular tree. It's just full of verticillium and rot. Right?
Yep. How about the linden on Mulberry Street?
I have not heard anything about that. I've been waiting to hear from that. Get the go ahead to go and get that thing down.
'Cause that was definitely part of a town tree planting. That-
Okay.
That
Oh,
Rob Vincent did the work.
Who did the work?
Rob Vincent planted it.
Yeah, okay. Once I get the go ahead, we haven't gotten anything to the,
Late 80s, early 90s, something like that.
nothing have come into the office about it yet, so.
Okay.
Dave,
It's got to be.
refresh my memory. We can go back in the notes, but there was a gal that was in here last winter before we stopped for COVID. I believe there was a takedown approved, and I want to say they were beech, but I don't remember exactly. But they required a crane, and we haven't done anything with that as far as getting that project out to bid. That's going to be an expensive one.
Oh, the
Oh, no, that's the
houses.
The poplars.
Poplars.
that's the northern white poplars on Gardner.
Right.
Where are they? Bartlett?
Gardner.
Oh, Gardner. Okay.
Yeah, that's Tausig's place, right?
Yeah.
Tausig's place, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to have to put a contract together for that.
Right across from Marcia Fader.
Yep.
That's right, Dale.
Okay. Tree inventory update. I know one thing that has been happening between Dale and Mo, they have been putting additional trees that they've found since Will's inventory has been successfully, I'd say, completed, or at least the first big effort was completed. They've been continuing to populate with some trees that are found that are not on there or just, weren't known to be public trees at the time. So that's been really helpful. I think the next idea for the full inventory would be a condition assessment. And that is something that, right now, other than people noticing, homeowners noticing or asking, maybe things that just Dale knows off the top of his head that he needs to get to or wants to get to. We don't really have a comprehensive island-wide condition assessment now but we at least have the full inventory at this point. There had been some notes made, I think, during the inventory that would lead us down a path as far as condition assessments. But what are the committee's thoughts about hiring someone to come in to do and just solely focus on doing a condition assessment of the entire inventory?
It's too big a job. I think hiring a consulting arborist would be a good thing.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Agreed.
And the good news is we have the inventory to print off as part of a scope of work. And we could start talking about it that way. I think it just, the goal of this is really to get into a workable management plan and to be able to predict life expectancy, I think, when action is going to be needed on some of these.
I think it would be nice to have one person do it, so there's continuity with the ranking.
Yeah, I can see a benefit to that. We can, once we do put together a scope for this, I definitely would like to get some input from the committee. In fact, if you have something, if you've seen something like this elsewhere, or you've been a part of that in your earlier life or in a past life, please forward it our way. We'd be happy to take a look at it. Or if anyone in your professional organizations does this for a living and has any kind of scope of work from other community or at the state or federal level, we'll be happy to look at it.
I have a recommendation for somebody I can forward to you, Rob, that you can talk to.
Okay,
That
I appreciate
does
that.
that sort of thing.
Yep. Just for my edification, what are the elm dates again?
What are the what?
The dates that we can touch elm trees?
I think it's somewhere around Thanksgiving, isn't it, Dale?
November 20th or first frost.
Okay,
I'd rather just give it to that 20th date.
What's the end date on that, Dale?
April 1st.
April 1st.
Even Asian elm, same thing.
Yep.
that's good to know, because that comes up every single year. And it'd be good just to make sure I know that. Okay. Cobblestone Hill trees. And if I remember correctly, we're talking about Cobblestone Hill from what, Lincoln Circle area down, not Lincoln Circle specifically, but you guys can help me out if that's Cobblestone Hill that I'm thinking of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Down to towards Jetties.
Yes, that's Cobblestone Hill.
What is the one? What is it? Cobblestone Alley, the one that comes down to Union?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Cobblestone Hill.
Stone Alley.
We recently did some brush cutting up there, but there's some trees I believe that are I think that are either leaning into the sidewalk travelway or further over into the travelway for vehicles.
Yes, the choke cherries.
Okay, is it vehicles or pedestrians that are
Pretty
having
low
conflicts?
on the sidewalk side.
Say that again, Dale?
Going up the hill, the choke cherries are hanging pretty low on the sidewalk side.
Have they been upbranched or are they able to be?
No.
Okay. So is the recommendation that they come
Just
out?
to get rid of them.
What's that?
Just to get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Yeah.
And how many are we talking about?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know exactly which ones you're talking about.
All right, so let's get some pictures before the next meeting. We could probably have that discussion there. I think it made a big difference being able to initially brush cut that as far as people coming down. I noticed that the traffic earlier this year, it became almost a one-way. And being able to brush cut back both sides, pedestrians were able to use the sidewalk and not come in the road, and the vehicles could pass one another pretty easily.
I think the original issue there was those seedling sycamore maples that are on the bank.
Well, the lady on the, if you're going down the hill from Lincoln Circle, the lady on the right-hand side hired some tree company to top them. And when they should have been taken down.
Yep.
But they're just involuntary sycamore maple.
The only good thing about the trees there is they're holding the bank.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's, yeah.
So I would, I mean, I would say they could probably top them. I mean, it's not a big deal. But I'd leave them alone.
the cherries that we're talking about, or the other ones?
It's the sycamore maples that are inboard. They're,
Yeah.
the cherries can all be removed. That's just a pruning thing along sidewalks or a road. I mean, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, we can get the cherries added to the list, Dale.
Okay.
Okay. So we got review of Mass General Law, Chapter 87, shade trees for notification of butter requirements. Is that in the packet? Yeah, it looks like it's on page 10 of the packet. I'm not sure if this came out of the previous meeting. I don't remember. There's a highlighted section here about posting.
Sure.
Maybe just to clarify, or maybe to inform everybody of what the process was, because it had been some time from the last time we had done something like that.
That's the application for the hearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's been followed with every, as far as I can see, with every meeting we've ever had. So.
Okay. And I just noticed here on page 11, keep going down, Ben, just to your note previously about our local bylaw, section 6 here of the Mass General Law talks about a fine for violation of the previous sections of not more than $500.
Right.
So if nothing more, it would be helpful to get in line with the state at the very least, as a minimum.
Yeah, agreed.
That's $500 is not enough to
No, well, as we found, it won't even replace the first 2 inches of tree.
Sure. Yep.
Based on our current policy.
Right.
Okay. I don't see any other old business, new business we handled. Action items. 38 Westchester. I know I walked in into the last meeting just to having gotten notice that 38 Westchester had been cut. I got to apologize and say that Hannah did forward me the information of that packet from way back, and I have not had a moment to review that, but I would like to send that to the committee. I know Dale and Dave got a copy of it. Do you guys have any comments that you'd like to share at this time?
I don't know what our recourse, I don't know what recourse I suppose we have a recourse there, but
I mean, from my perspective, what I remember was that we entertained the takedowns for 38 Westchester as a committee. The committee approved the takedowns, but it was subject to because it was sort of whatever the decision was. The decision was that the person, the applicant, I'll call the person, was going to be able to remove them, but not until the department received credit through the tree credit policy. And my point, I guess, was they came down without anything being credited to the town. And that is a problem.
Well, we could certainly, I think we could send them a registered letter. And at the very least, we can fine them for not complying with the details of the removal.
Yeah. Here's what I would say certainly is I have not had a chance to read through this package again, so I need to do that. So I'm going to commit to going through this and very likely contacting this person, setting up a meeting to talk with them.
Yep.
So that I can understand their end of the story here. Before we jump to any conclusions, give them an opportunity to make good on what was promised back at the meeting, and then I can report back to the committee at our next meeting.
And we know, and their point person was their landscape designer that came to the meeting that time. So
Right.
That's a known quantity. There's a known quantity, so
Yep.
we have a contact there.
Yes.
And the way I remember it, Rob, I think all the details are right. The one detail I think was that the DPW was going to do the removals.
Okay.
So,
Yes, I remember that being the conversation also.
and maybe that's neither here nor there. If they're removed, then, less work that has to be done with your department. But I think that certainly we need the tree credits.
Yep.
And where the tree credits were determined, correct?
At that meeting, they were, yeah.
I believe so, yes. So I'll do what I said. I will read this packet, get in touch with the applicant, and report back to the committee next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, we have Union Street.
Jeff, anything?
Remind me about Union. Was that the one that had,
That's the elm on, what is it?
43B.
Right. Was that 43B? That was the one in the back there.
Jeff,
Yeah,
you're muted, Jeff.
Wasn't the one on, I'm thinking of the other one on Union Street, that big elm that's, that they tried to build that little cottage underneath.
Yeah, I thought that was 43,
Yeah.
43B.
I thought there was another one close by there on, I don't know if that's Mulberry or what's
There's
the,
a big elm on the corner of Marbury and Union.
yeah. That was that one that got planted with all the other,
No, this is one of the historical elms
okay.
on the corner of Marbury and Union.
Yeah, they're subdividing the property,
Yeah.
right?
oh, okay, so they're potentially impacting the tree or would be with a future development?
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is the one, we're all talking about the same. There aren't two Union Street trees. This one has been on the action items for a while, and we keep watching it. It's the one you wrote the letter, Dad, to the planning board, right? This is the same one? Okay.
There's another one at risk close by there.
There's another one at risk close by there? Okay, we gotta get the addresses on this.
But there's only one elm on Union. That's the one. There's a big sycamore, London Plain, right after that.
I think it's more like I can't remember the owner's name.
Are you talking down toward the end?
I'm talking, it's a house that has two elms. There's one elm, seems to me we planted, we planted a Princeton on the property. And there was there was also another elm, like
What's the name of that other street? That columnar elm.
yeah, exactly. That's the property that's
Columnar elm.
subdivided.
Hmm?
That's the property that's up for a subdivision, apparently.
Another piece of property? We got a Princeton in the front yard.
We got a Princeton that's not in very good shape.
In not very good shape, and that columnar elm got
Yeah,
some.
that's that ascending elm, that Augustine ascending elm, I think it is.
August, yeah.
That's to the, if you're looking at it, to the left of it.
To the left.
That's the property that we're talking about. Well, we're probably talking about two things on Union Street. That particular property and the one that's
Down the street from it.
that big American elm that.
Big American elm, yes.
And is Jeff, are you still on the line? He's the one that knows more about that one but I guess Jeff. But I haven't heard anything.
So what is the committee's pleasure on action for this location, this Mulberry and Union? Are we monitoring? Are we reaching
Well,
out?
that Mulberry Union need a good pruning job done to it this winter.
Well, that would be good to solidify the ownership of the.
I already got it in records. I've pruned that tree 3 times in my career.
Yep. So I mean, I think we have to monitor what's happening there.
Okay.
If it needs a pruning job, I would say, Dale, we could get a work request in and just prune it at our convenience while we monitor it.
But a letter maybe to the planning board to find out what the status of that particular.
Matter of fact, Linda Williams of it is involved with that somehow.
She an agent for the owner?
No, she's fighting for the tree.
Okay.
We could certainly put a letter into the planning board or just request some information on what might be happening there. So we could notice the owner. Okay.
Okay.
10 York.
We've already talked about that.
Yep. So Dale's checking into that.
Yep.
And homework. Did everyone do their homework for Appleton Road?
I did not.
I get an F on my homework too.
I went by there and I don't know, I thought it could definitely use a dozen trees. I have my suggestions, but I was kind of thinking maybe as a committee we put our 3 suggestions out there and send them to the homeowners, which trees are going to go out in front of, particular houses, and send them a handful of options. I kind of thought maybe Gymnoclaudus or Tilia tomatosa would be nice selections, or just Acer rubrum, and maybe give the homeowners 3 options and see what they prefer.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think well, first off, John, thanks for doing your homework. You're a shining example for the committee.
Thank you.
I think the idea would be exactly that, is to kind of come up with a count and a species list, and then reach out to the neighbors with a sketch plan on what we're thinking, and then be able to go from there. Mike, did you have any, are you racing up there in your car now to check it out?
Still parked in Wisconsin.
Have you got a chance to go by Appleton at all?
I have not.
Okay. All right, well, I would challenge the three of you who chose not to do your homework to get up there before the next meeting. We do have time. I think we're at the tail end of the planting season, so I would say this would be spring. It would give us some time to put a plan together, reach out to the neighbors and get some input. John, if you want to take an opportunity to sketch on one of the sheets that were in the previous packet.
Yep.
Just get a list of where and what you would do. And I think, again, with the rest of the committee putting all their thoughts together, we can come back at the next meeting and be able to synthesize that. And then I put a mailing out together and we'll get some feedback.
Awesome.
That'd be great.
Good.
Ben, you want to bring up those details?
Yeah, let's take a look at the details. Let's see.
So this, just a little background. These came up, if you can share the screen.
Yep.
These came up to us, were developed by our engineer friends at Beta, who are working with me on bike path improvements. And so this sort of thing could be utilized wherever we run into tree roots. There's all kinds of tree roots that have come under bike paths around the island. And rather than just go in and excavate the pavement and make a mess, or worse, damage a whole bunch of tree roots that are going to lead to a premature injury or death of these wonderful resources, we wanted to figure out how to best handle these areas. So this is our start.
So do I see that they're putting structural soil installed in 6-inch lifts, clean pea stone, and it goes over the collar of the tree? Am I reading that diagram correctly?
Well, I think the idea would be that if we're talking the collar being the, so that's the side view. I think if you look at the plan view up to the upper right, the facility, the sidewalk itself is shown as a 2-foot minimum off the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at this, I think it's a good start, but I think we really need to, let me just show you, like, sorry, I don't know how to get rid of this thing here. But, you know, when you're talking about structural soils, it really needs to be a much more comprehensive preparation, and it really needs to extend a lot further out into the root zone. With this, it basically looks like you're just taking the, if anybody, can you see my cursor? It's like, you know, you're really adding soil rather than maybe taking care of, you know, the whole of the root zone, right?
And I will say that this specific detail was talking about trying to address individual roots within the sidewalk or bike path, and sort of provide materials as something like basically a bridge,
right?
That would also allow that to continue to grow.
So I think this is better than, you know, adding stone dust on top of the tree roots and just bricking over it. But I don't think it's there yet as a good a protocol for the town. Honestly, I think we need to work through this a little bit more. And what my thoughts are is that, you know, you encounter this kind of stuff, and obviously you're going to need this bridging up over the roots in some situations, but the idea is to create enough space underneath that it gets these roots to wanna kind of, the newer roots to wanna go down and under the sidewalk rather than keep pushing up. So I think the idea on any of these that need work is that it's a much more comprehensive job that breaks back sidewalks, you know, to either side of the tree by quite a bit. And some work is done underground as well as just around the tree. So it's not a Band-Aid fix. It's more of a, you know, it's more of a comprehensive fix.
Yeah, we really want to airspace the
Yeah,
that amendment into the root system.
yeah. I'm worried about pea stone, just pea stone. You know, structural soils. I think Rob, this is something you should, you know, the DPW should look into, is, you know, stockpiling some of the structural soil on site somewhere so that you have it for use. And you know, and there are a couple of sources in Massachusetts that I'm told. It'd probably be just a Google search. There's a structural soils out of like Plymouth, Mass, I think.
Okay.
That can provide bulk material, but a lot of this sort of root zone area, this should be prepped with an air spade. I don't know if the DPW has or owns an air spade, but I imagine you own a tow behind compressor, which is the big expense there. The air spade is a couple $1,000s, but you know, in the grand scheme of things.
Sure. I think that is more than capable of the department. I think part of what we want to develop here is a combination of what you had pulled up before, sort of a example of a brand new planting.
Yeah.
And then as many scenarios as we feel would be necessary to appropriately handle what we expect to encounter for existing mature trees.
Sure.
Which
right.
is what you're talking about there.
Yeah, I honestly think we'd probably have to just get into one, do a test site somewhere, you know, something that's, you know, like that one section of sidewalk that we looked at on Main Street. I can't remember the number.
Yep.
But you know, we're all that old.
I think you could say any number, Ben, and
any number, right? Yeah, you're right. But I think it's going to be a case by case basis. But
okay. So here's what I would say, because we're going to be, at the very least, in the springtime, we're going to be doing this brand new planting at or around 86 or 98, right? 98 near the Hadwin House at 100.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great opportunity to take a look at both of these, right? So we have the new planting spec or detail. We can stockpile, get a hold of some structural soil, stockpile it to have that on hand, develop or put that in the ground based on this suggested detail. And then we could do another one, maybe across the street over where we have some challenging tree roots that are upsetting a bunch of different materials over there. Pull that apart with the air spade and try to treat it appropriately to get a surface that we could begin to smooth out the historic surface materials on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. All right, anyone else have anything?
Out here.
Great. Well, this has been a good one. Appreciate everyone's time. I think we are at the end of the agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Yep. Second.
second. All those in favor?
All right.
All right.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye, guys. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you.
Hannah.